You know, it's kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever talked about AmaLee on this channel before, except for like last week. Now, there's another topic that has come up with her, and actually there's a second one too that I still got to report on. But for now, I want to tackle this one first. So, she made a tweet saying, "Hey guys, I know a lot of voice actors have similar names, but please do a little research so you don't confuse us. I've been getting quite a few nasty emails for things I haven't done or said, so just please do your research before accusing someone." Now, I think this is in reference to a woman who I believe refers to herself as an ex-voice actress named Amanda Winley. So you can see the similarities in their names right there. AmaLee, Amanda Winley. And here's the thing about Amanda Winley. Over the years, she's made a number of takes that have got her immense backlash. And this happened just again on February 23rd. I'll read that tweet to you, or those set of tweets in a moment. So that happens on February 23rd. And then we got AmaLee making her tweet back on February 26th. So that's the timeline of events here. And now, take a look at what Amanda Winley said, and then we'll discuss it a little bit, because this is an absolutely insane take. I think even insane is putting it lightly. Some may say that this is just outright evil. And before I show this to you, let me also stress that I don't like politics. I don't do political commentary for a reason. This is relative to AmaLee, the anime community, in a way, and that's why I'm talking about it here. Now, let's continue.
In one way, Putin did us a favor. Historically, every president running for re-election during a war has won. Screw you. I'm serious. Anything that keeps Trump out of the White House I embrace. Whiny bitches clutching their pearls and trying to police my tone will be blocked. If Trump gets back in office, we'll have the casualties from the war and the genocide of Uyghur people. I'm not dang kidding. When my father and my son both had cancer at the same time, I desperately clung to any bit of silver lining to get me through. It's how I process trauma, and I don't give a crap what you think of my process.
So I don't really think it matters what you think of Trump or Biden, to also think that her take is just, again, absolutely insane or downright evil. The way I took what she said is that she's basically glad that Russia is attacking Ukraine, glad for this armed conflict, despite massive amounts of casualties, 100,000 plus civilians in Ukraine fleeing the country, and they say that number can easily rise to over 4 million. And all this has occurred in what? Less than a week? She's hoping this stuff goes on for 2 years? 2 years, it runs into the next US presidential election. I can't even imagine how bad things would get if this is all going on from now until at least 2 years from now as well. I mean, you're talking about potential other European countries involved. You're talking about potential conflict in Southeast Asia if China makes a move on Taiwan. Talking about the US being embroiled in war as well, because that's the point that she's getting at, right? Because if that's the case, she's saying that it's likely that Biden will not lose re-election. Historically, a president in time of war doesn't lose re-election. That's what she's trying to be happy about. The amount of suffering, the massive loss of life that would come from all this, I mean, it's just unthinkable, man. Oh my gosh. What was she thinking? What is wrong with this woman? This is the same woman who years ago told a girl that she hopes she experiences one of the worst things that a woman can experience from a man that does something to her, if you get my meaning, because this girl had the audacity to defend Vic Mignogna. So yeah, that's the situation here with AmaLee. I guess some people saw what Amanda Winley has been saying. They confused her with AmaLee, which, oh my gosh, that would suck. I feel for AmaLee on that one. Certainly understandable why she would not want to be confused for anyone, especially her, though. I can't even begin to imagine what those emails that she's been getting say. Wow. Because I'm sure people are not happy with Amanda Winley. I mean, actually, if you see the first take she got, it got 304 likes versus over 3,500 quote tweets, meaning like 3,200 people are talking about it, not liking it. Basically meaning 90% of the engagement on this tweet has been negative. I suppose there's a fair argument to say, though, that even 10% of it being positive is a bit concerning. Why don't we take a look at some of the responses on the topic of public reception to this take? Why don't we take a look at some of the responses that it has been getting? So, when she mentioned her trauma, that part, this person, Julian, says, There's no way this is going to affect you. So maybe if this is the way you process trauma, do it in private, not in your 15,000 follower Twitter account. She says, sorry, my bad. Didn't realize once I hit a certain number of followers that I wasn't allowed to have opinions anymore. Quick side note. I often use a kind of silly voice when I'm reading certain tweets because, one, it makes it obvious I'm talking about someone else, but two, and this is actually kind of the more important point, I probably should have said this is number one, I don't want my weirdo aunties to like take stuff out of context that I say. When I'm reading someone's awful take, they can like clip that part because y'all know, I mean, maybe if you're new to my channel, you don't know, but I got some completely insane aunties out there. So it's also for that purpose. Now, continuing. Julian says, you just said you were processing trauma, not sharing an opinion. Make up your mind. If this is an opinion, it's a very bad one. You come off as a self-centered American who cannot think outside of whatever affects them. If it's trauma processing, do it in private. She says, or you could, I don't know, just keep scrolling. Not sure why you think I'm just dying to hear what you think. Julian, oh yes, I will keep scrolling on an American supporting war because it will get their president reelected. Don't you realize how much this hurts people? Like seriously, I hope you realize how this was very wrong and apologize. Amanda says, I never said I support it. Of course not. I was just stating a historical fact. And this other person, gibberish name, says, you literally said you embrace it. Another person, Newman, says similar, saying, but you said you embrace it, which is basically the same thing as saying you support it. Other people were just telling her to delete the entire take, and it seems she didn't take any of the advice that people were giving, because about 15 minutes later, she added this.
To pearl clutching wilting lilies, I am legit terrified that Trump may get back in office. This takes him out of the equation of crap that must be dealt with right freaking now. In no way, shape or form do I endorse war. Jesus. You all are so desperate to be offended by something.
Okay, to be fair, there are a lot of people on Twitter that are desperate to be offended by something. However, I think we all know what that looks like. And what she said and how people are responding, that's really not the same sort of situation going on here. And then the next day, she also added this.
Okay, you all, I freaked up. I never should have used the word embraced. It was thoughtless of me. After all the crap going on in Texas with trans kids, I was angry. My bad. Forgive me or don't.
Kinda odd. That's the second time in the last couple of days that I've seen someone using trans people as an excuse for their terrible take. It kinda makes you wonder if they actually have a genuine care or if they're just using them as leverage. I'll show you one of the top responses she got on that take from Chroma. You coming out saying this for give me or don't, and that you don't care kinda makes this apology seem incredibly defensive. Just apologize for your poor choice of wording and correct your mistake and leave the attitude out of it. And a response to that, saying that she doesn't actually care, shows someone who was trying to explain the issue people took with her take, just ended up with her blocking them. Lastly, Amanda Lee would say this.
1. I'm a housewife in Los Angeles who spends most of her time picking up animal poop, so there's nothing to cancel. 2. One grapey political take does not undo all the good things I've done and said in my life. Moving on.
Gusty would say, what good things have you done and said? Genuine question. Scott says, she's been a source of love and support for me in a time of hardship and a firm ally of people I care about. Is that a good enough answer for you? Who the heck are you? Oh, you know, a person sharing his thoughts on the internet, just like the rest of you. Were you under the impression I needed to be something more than that to answer the question? Okay, Scott. Whatever. That's my real name. No gimmicks. I use this account to follow people I like and comment on tweets, not to promote myself or attract followers. Rarely make my own tweets and such. If you can't tell the difference between that and a burner account, that's your problem. Yeah, thing is, Scott really does look like a burner account, and that's like the only person defending her. For example, another response that she got from Kat. I'm a housewife in Los Angeles, and that gives me an excuse to be xenophobic / dismiss the human suffering and misery caused by war. Think this one over again. All right. So, yeah, that has been a thing. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I hope you've been enjoying these longer segments, although I'll still have briefer ones coming out as well. So, hey, catch you in the comments and also in the next one.